I mean, and when it comes to playoffs, if there's anybody that knows about playoffs, it's the Cleveland Browns.
Welcome to another edition of Bedlam Buds. This one is an NFL playoff edition, and in honor of the NFL playoffs, Jeremy and I are in our Cleveland Browns attire. And for Jeremy, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Go Pokes. Go Browns. I mean, and when it comes to playoffs, if there's anybody that knows about playoffs, it's the Cleveland Browns. And so I figured it would be the best thing for us to wear this. And I'm glad you wore yours too, to show that.
Total coincidence. We did not plan this. There was no
Right.
text thread. And by the way, we both grew up Dallas Cowboys fans, and still root for the Cowboys. Every time they do the Tom Landry shift, goosebumps. And
Yeah.
they do that at the end of games when they win. But it's hard to root for the Cowboys with Jerry Jones as an owner, not because he's bad, he's just incompetent. And speaking of incompetent, the kings of incompetence uh, are the Haslam family and Cleveland Browns. And I say that as somebody who worked for the Haslam's rival in business, the Love family.
Right.
Love the Love family. Love's Travel Stops at Country Store. Love them. Pilot, they're the enemy. And but not the Cleveland Browns. I got to root for the Cleveland Browns, even though the Haslams own them. Um, they're not in the playoffs. But what I thought we would do today, I know this is a shocker. By the way, quick tangent. We won't go on this tangent long. Portal has been good for both our teams.
The portal has been, and eventually when we talk about it, there's a switch from OU to OSU.
I saw that. It was a kid from Owasso.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
But both schools, oh my. Yeah, I'm excited.
yeah.
Both of us.
I'm excited for the NFL playoffs. I had a text conversation with my brothers, as we often do. By the way, John and Charles finished last in our fantasy football league. There needs to be some sort of punishment. I mean, they went like 3-11, dude. It's like, come on, man. Are we even watching? What are we doing here? So it just
In my league,
ugh.
the punishment is the last place team. We change their name for the next year.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. But I asked them what they thought about the playoffs, and they're both sold on Denver and Seattle, and that's fine, and I get that. But Jeremy, in my experience, we're both old timers here. We've watched a lot of NFL playoffs in the '80s together at your house in Henrietta. I remember watching the Denver Giants Super Bowl in '86.
Yep.
But
Yep.
experience is really important. When you have two teams that come together, I generally find, even though one of the teams might be the shiny new object, look for the other team that's got a little bit more experience. I don't know if you feel that way, but what I thought we would do is just go through each of these games and see what you think. And let's start with Saturday afternoon, the Los Angeles Rams and the Carolina Panthers. And I should note, they've played before. They played in Charlotte. Carolina won that game 31-28. How do you see this playoff match shaping up?
All right. So where does this game take place?
Charlotte.
Okay, so it is at Charlotte. Oh, that's right. They're the fourth. What am I even thinking here?
Well, and I should note, it's not exactly the greatest home field advantage in the world. I think I watched a Charlotte FC soccer match where they had a better home pitch advantage than they ever have at a Panthers game. So
Um, I don't know. This is one of those where you can talk about experience, but the fact is neither one of these teams really have a lot of recent playoff experience. Um, I don't know. There's something about um I don't know. There's something about the Rams that I think they're kind of coming around a little bit. I think they're going to get the upset here. I think that they have a little bit more of the experience. Just from just a few years ago. And so I just think that again, and in this case, I don't think the experience really matters. I just think that the Rams are kind of putting it together. I think that they are the better team, and I think that they're going to end up being a little bit healthier. And I think the Rams take this one.
So I should tell you, the Rams are a 10.5-point favorite. So Vegas says the
Oh,
Rams are
I
the
haven't even
favorite.
looked at the odds. Oh,
And
wow.
that's fine. I appreciate that perspective. Now, what the Rams have is Matthew Stafford, probably going to be the MVP this year. It'll either be him or Drake May, I think. But I think that I don't see any way the Rams don't come out of this with a big win. And it's not that they're a 10.5-point favorite. It's just that they're experienced in all the right places, especially at quarterback, especially at head coach. Aaron Donald's not there anymore. I know that. But they have just enough pieces. Now, I mean, Carolina's still the home team. I don't know what the weather situation is there, but I don't know that it's going. We'll talk about some snow games coming up here, but I just, as I've played out this entire playoff bracket, the tournament, as they call it, the Rams, I think, are a team that a lot of folks are going to pick to go to the Super Bowl. And it
I
may be, yeah.
I could see the Rams upsetting Seattle.
And in a bit of baseball football confluence, Clayton Kershaw retired this year. Dodgers won a title. Of course, Matthew Stafford is his childhood buddy from Highland Park, Texas. I could absolutely see Matthew Stafford winning and he retiring also. And then they start a podcast together. I think that's what they should do.
Probably so. They probably will.
Now, just go back a little bit in time, 2004, I just watched some highlights of this. Back when the Rams were in St. Louis, Kurt Warner, who's pretty much my favorite NFL quarterback of all time, love Kurt Warner, especially when he's at Arizona, what he did there. Anyway, they're playing Carolina there and in St. Louis, and it was 23-23 going into the second overtime. First play of the second overtime, Jake Delhomme goes back, hits a slant over the middle to Steve Smith. He gone. 29-23. It was a great game, and that Carolina team was special. I think Carolina is close to having those sort of vibes, but again, in the NFL playoffs, when you meet Father Time often whips your ass. And I think the Rams win this game maybe comfortably. So
Yeah.
we're both on board with the Rams for this one.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Again, I just think that the Rams are just a better team, despite being the lower seed.
Let's talk about, and by the way, let's talk rooting interest. Who are you rooting for? There's part of me because we, as a family, I haven't told you this. This is breaking news on here, but Olivia wants to go to North Carolina, Chapel Hill. We may be in Charlotte in a couple years. So I kind of feel the obligation to root for the Panthers here.
Hey, that's as good as any. That's as good as any reason to cheer for somebody. So, yeah, why not? So, and
If
so
I'm going to be yeah.
I'll cheer for the Panthers with you then.
Yeah, why not? Pull for the
Absolutely.
Panthers.
I got
so
a dog in that hunt.
Let's talk Packers-Bears.
Oh.
That's going to be, the oldest rivalry in NFL, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Chicago. It's the Saturday night game, and it's expected to be a possible snow game with like accumulating snow, which I love. The Bears haven't won a playoff game in just about 2 decades, and the Packers, they've lost 4 in a row. The last team to lose 4 in a row and actually win a playoff game, I believe you have to go back to 1986 and the New York Jets. A long time ago. How do you see this one shaping up? Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams.
Okay, so this is the one that I've had the hardest time looking at because it could be weather dependent. I mean, if you go experience, clearly Green Bay has a little bit of edge in playoff experience, but the way that the Bears have played, the way that Johnson has them playing, the way that Williams has played this year, he's showing that promise that we saw his freshman year at OU. I don't know. There's just, this is one of those where I get into trouble a lot. A lot of times I pick with my heart and not my head. Okay. My heart, it says that I think that for some reason Green Bay is going to take this, but my head says Chicago. And so I'm going to go Chicago. In the college football playoffs, I went with heart and I did terribly. So, and so I'm going with my head, and I think Chicago is a better team. I think they're playing better right now. I think that Williams has really developed. I love what the coach is doing with them, and I mean they had talent, and now they're using that talent very well. I think it's the Bears. The Bears.
There's a lot that I like about Chicago and how they've played it played during the regular season. There was a TikTok that I watched from a guy who is uh, a sports analytics guru who basically said that the Chicago Bears are the worst team in the entire playoffs statistically, that they shouldn't even be there. They're really the best team that's not there are the Detroit Lions. Now, with that said, I like the Bears. I like Caleb. Caleb's a different kind of quarterback. He's a very Gen Z, sensitive, soft quarterback. I don't know what. Yeah, right. And it's not that that bugs me. It's just he's different.
It's a
Look,
different generation, man.
it's a yeah. Well, it's a generation that's in conflict with itself, though.
Oh yeah,
We're going to get up on a sociology.
Dino. Don't
I I
start him.
I watched the a Pat McAfee broadcast of the Miami Mississippi game yesterday. It was fascinating, but it was four bros broing around. So on one hand, Gen Z is very bro, or they're like Caleb. I like Caleb. I think Caleb's a baller. That pass he threw to DJ Moore to end the game, that was just a few weeks back. It was awesome. And I like them at the running back position. I'm gonna Kyle Monangai, whatever, number 25. He's great. I like Swift. I like Swift when he was at Philadelphia. I like the receivers, but I will tell you, Father Time, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love. I think Green Bay wins this game. In fact, I think the moment might be too big for Chicago right now. Who am I rooting for? With all apologies to my good friend Scott Mitchell, who is a Green Bay Packers shareholder, I like the Bears. We grew up in the 80s with the Bears. We are the Bears shuffle and crew. I like their uniforms. Their uniforms, outside of Cleveland's, the prettiest in the NFL. Love their home uniforms. Love the vibe at Soldier Field. I once went to Soldier Field to watch Oklahoma score exactly 0 points. So that's a whole other story. I would love for the Bears to win. I think in a snow game, I think
That's yeah.
there was a call.
That's
I just got a call from Washington D.C. Maybe it's the president.
could be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think the Packers win this game. It's in a tough slug 'em 17-14, 2017 type game. Give me the Packers. So far I've gone with sort of like the older, more experienced teams. Rams to win, Packers to win, but in both cases I'm rooting for the other team. I'm rooting for Carolina. I'm rooting for the Bears.
Well, I will probably also rooting for the Bears as well. More as a against Green Bay than for Chicago. But yeah, I got to stick with my head on this one, and it says Chicago. But I have been known to have a crazy head, so you never know what's going to actually happen. But I'm thinking Chicago.
All right, let's talk about Sunday games here. There are three of them. This one is super intriguing because I the Bills, you got Buffalo, but they got to go down to Jacksonville. Probably going to be pretty nice weather in Jacksonville, you would imagine. Jacksonville has been really hot to end the year. Their offense looks great. The receiver core, Parker Washington, those guys, really good. The Trevor Lawrence, really good. The running game, Travis Etienne Jr. But the Bills, they've been there. They've done that. And every year I say, this is the Bills' year. Josh Allen, James Cook. I love James Cook. And the receiver core, not that great. This is this is a game where I'm rooting for both of them. I say love. I like both these teams. They both I'm not going to be sad. I'll be sad for whoever loses and I'll be happy for whoever wins. But I think the Bills get it done in Jacksonville. What do you think?
Okay, so whenever I was in college 11 billion years ago, I took this course called Geography of Sport. And in that class, we had a big project. And so, as part of my project, what my project was, is I gathered up information to do a pitch to bring an NFL expansion team to an area. And I just happened to get Jacksonville. And so I just stumbled across this place called Touchdown Jacksonville, and I called them, and it was the actual people who were bringing the Jaguars to Jacksonville. And so I destroyed that assignment because I had literally the exact same information because they're like, we'd be happy to help you with this project. And so they gave me all the information. So I've always had a very soft spot for Jacksonville. That being said, I think Buffalo wins.
Yeah, it's I think about the moment. It's I don't know that the moment's going to be too big for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he was there at Clemson in big games, but it just now last time Jacksonville was in this position, I forgot whether they were down or I think they were up early, lost the lead, and came back to win something. So they have experience winning in this round, but man, it's going to be a darn shame if the Bills fumble this again because this is the year. No Kansas City, man. No Baltimore. Buffalo should be going to the Super Bowl finally.
Well, and Oklahoma State should have won the Big 12 when Texas and OU left. But here we are. So sometimes that challenge is actually what makes you better. Maybe the challenge at Kansas City has made Buffalo better. Again, my problem here is that I agree with you right now. I think that Jacksonville is a more complete team. I think Buffalo has a better offense, but I think that Jacksonville is a more complete team. And my head says Jacksonville, but my heart is saying Buffalo because I'm with you. I just kind of want Buffalo to finally win a Super Bowl. Watching 4 years in a row of them, not making it happen and all that.
That's brutal.
Just incredible. And each year got worse, though. That's the problem. Each year got worse. The first one was with the wide right. And I mean,
Second one, so the first one, they lost 20-19. Second one, they lost to Mark Rippon and Washington Redskins 37-24 in a game that was not close. Third year was the 52-17 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. That game was close until mid-second quarter. And then the fourth one was probably the second closest to them all because it was actually, I think Buffalo may have had the lead at half, like 13-6. And then it was Dallas the rest of the way. That Dallas won 30-13 going away.
Yeah.
But it was nip and tuck. Either way, just brutal. In fact, it's so brutal. There was a movie that was based on this Buffalo losing. It was called Buffalo 66. It didn't really have to. It's just the mother had gone insane because of a wide right. And there were other things that happened. But it's just, I don't know. This is a game where I'm like, I'm not really sure who's going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me either way. I think it'll be close. I think it may be the best game of the weekend. It may be a 35-31 game. Be ready for some offense. I don't think it's going to be a 10-7 game.
See, I think Lawrence has really stepped it up. I think a flip has switched or a switch has flipped. I think that he is now an NFL quarterback. But again, I think that in this case, the experience wins. I think Buffalo. I think it's kind of their time. I think they're going to win this. But of course, that puts them against Denver in the next round, and man, that's the beauty of these playoffs. I guess that's what you want.
Well,
you want these tough matchups.
I'm not totally sold on Denver either. Let's go on. So I think we're both
I'm above
both okay. And I don't know that I'm necessarily rooting for either team. I like them both. It's
but you got to pick one. You got to pick one. We got to commit.
Bills.
Okay.
I'm rooting for the Bills. Well, I just want them to get it done.
Yeah.
All right. Afternoon game. My wife's, my family's, my in-laws, they're all 49ers, except Becky. She's a Ram. But they're all 49ers.
There's always one.
That's right. They're all 49ers. Bang Bang Niner Gang, and they're playing the Eagles, and I like the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts. This one's a tough one. I think at the end of the day, I'm going to be rooting for the 49ers because I like to see Christy be sports happy. And I do like the 49ers, but I will tell you this. This is the game I'm most certain of. Philadelphia's winning this game. San Francisco is way too beat up. I saw what they had when they didn't have Ricky Pearsall, when they didn't have Trent Williams, and now they lost that backup linebacker or that guy who was playing there after Warner was hurt. Dude, and now you're going to ask them to go win in Philly? I think this is an easy one and done. It may not be a rout. It may be 20-6, 23-13. But I can't see the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles with Jalen, with AJ, with Devontae, with Saquon Barkley going one and done at home against a beaten down San Francisco 49ers team. So rooting slightly for the 49ers. I'll never be disappointed if these Eagles win. Love Jalen. But I think the Eagles win relatively easy.
Yeah, that's it, almost exactly what I was going to say. Is that San Francisco's they're too beaten up. They're too thin right now. They can't afford to lose anybody. If certainly on the offensive, skill set side. If that happens, twisted ankle or something like that, I think it could turn into a rout. I think that Philadelphia is again simply the better team. Using your ideas, they have much more playoff experience right now. They know how to win in the playoffs, and I think that that's going to make a difference. And I think that Philadelphia walks away with this one. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then of course, if Philadelphia does walk away with this one, they would be playing the Rams the next week. And that by the way, the Rams when they and Philadelphia played in the playoffs last year, it was also a snow game, and it was a game that the Rams absolutely could have won, maybe should have won. It was kind of a wild game, but it's just bodes well for the playoffs. Our final game of the night, the one that's at well, it's not actually. We have two more. There's one on Monday too. Chargers at the Patriots. And for me, this one is interesting because while you have Drake May as an MVP candidate at New England, these aren't your Tom Brady Patriots. And it is a real matchup of maybe two of the best coaches in the NFL and Mike Vrabel versus Jim Harbaugh. What do you think about Chargers Patriots in New England Sunday night?
I'm not sure why you think Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the NFL.
Oh, Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah.
Do you remember what he did at San Francisco, taking them to the Super Bowl? He was great.
Yeah, but I
He
mean,
he
no, no,
he rebuilt a downtrodden San Francisco team and
he
brought
did.
them back with Colin Kaepernick, and he immediately turned around the LA Chargers.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm not saying that he's not, right now, maybe one of the better coaches. I'm just not sure we need to label him great yet, but that's just me being picky.
He was a cheater at Michigan.
That's kind of why I'm just not a fan of his, and it's a personal thing because of that. And I don't know. And he's a Michigan guy, and it's Michigan. So, the Chargers have gotten healthy. They've kind of come around. I think that they're playing some pretty good football. They like to run the ball. They have quite a few options there now that Hampton's back and healthy. Um, I just think that the Patriots are too much right now. I think that they're a complete team. I think that at home, yes, they're not the Brady Patriots, but they are annoyingly good, and it's annoying how fast they've become good again after Tom. And I think that they're just a more complete team. Now, if this gets into a slogfest, if this gets into a grind them out, then it's absolutely going to be the Chargers matchup. But I think that the Patriots are going to kind of pretty it up. I think they're going to spread it around, and I think it's going to be close. But I think that the Patriots win this one.
I do wonder what the Stephon Diggs distraction is going to, um, whether it will cause problems with the Patriots. Of course, Stephon Diggs is accused of strangling a woman, and I don't know that charges have been filed exactly yet, and what the NFL's stance is, whether or not he's going to be playing. But it's just distraction at the wrong time. The thing that I like about the Patriots on the field is their two-headed monster running the ball. Trayvon Henderson and Boomer Sooner, Oklahoma's own, Ramondre Stevenson, really, really, really good. And Drake May, North Carolina guy. He's just been really good.
He's been solid.
Good. It's been solid. I do see a possibility that if Herbert, really balls out, Chargers could win this game. Wouldn't be shocked, but I also wouldn't be shocked if this weren't one of the more boring games of the playoffs. 27-14 Patriots. Patriots are favorites here. They're favorites by 3.5. I think they win. And in terms of rooting, I don't even care. I don't even like either one of these teams.
I like a bear. I like Herbert, and so despite my dislike of Harbaugh, I like Amarian. I like Herbert, and so my rooting interest will be the Chargers. But again, I think New England wins.
I agree. So let's talk about Monday night. You got the Houston Texans. I remember before the season, I did a little bit of research on which defense I should take, even though we usually in fantasy football take the defense in the 14th or 15th round. I was like, I want the Texans, man, because I just read enough about their defense to be like, they're ball hawks. They're going to be real good. Maybe the best defense in the NFL. And guess what? They're the best defense in the NFL. They're actually playing maybe right now my favorite NFL coach, Mike Tomlin. It's not because it's because he's so grumpy. He is so, what my brothers and I call this ha-cha. He has no time for your shit. He is all business, son. And it's just, I heard him describe it like this. He said, there are more U.S. senators than there are NFL coaches. And he approaches this job with gratitude, and he puts everything he has into it. It makes it hard to not root for him, except for the fact that he's coaching the Steelers. And I grew up hating the Steelers. So my rooting interest, 100% the Houston Texans. Bring it. I also think Houston wins. I think Aaron Rodgers may show out, may have a good game, but boy, America's going to get introduced to the nastiest defense in the NFL. I mean, if you want a sleeper for the Super Bowl, why not Houston?
I'm not going to argue with you. I agree with all your points, including Tomlin as a person and as a coach. Terrific. I just hate the fact that he's in Pittsburgh because I hate Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I've always hated Pittsburgh, and I will probably always hate Pittsburgh. Not only as a Dallas Cowboy fan, but as a Cleveland Browns fan. I got two reasons to hate those guys.
Double.
I mean, it's a double deal. But and Houston actually is playing really well right now. They're coming around. The Saturday they had a pretty, or was it Saturday? This past weekend they had a pretty tough game. Had to pull it out. Found a way to win. Had some drama with the kicker and all of this. I mean, terrific ball game. Houston is. They are one of those teams that you're right. They are sneaky good, and they have sneakily. I should probably find a better adjective, but they have very quietly improved throughout the year. The quarterback play has quietly improved throughout the year. He's been good, but he's getting to that next level quarterback play, right? And I mean, and they had probably the funniest television commercial of the whole football season this year. And that just kind of, makes me kind of like them anyway. So I think that Houston wins. I think their defense is going to be too much. You don't rattle Aaron Rodgers, but you make him whine and moan like the little bitch that he is. You kind of get in his head a little bit, and he'll pout and huff around, and he'll make some great throws, but he's not Aaron Rodgers of even 10 years ago, for God's sake. So I think that Houston wins, and they are definitely my rooting interest.
What commercial are you talking about, by the way?
So there's a game earlier and afterwards, and CJ Stroud is high-fiving people on the sidelines as he's going to the locker room, and the owner of the team is standing there for a high five, and CJ doesn't see him and walks past him and doesn't high-five him. And it's the owner, and so people are like, oh. So the owner made a commercial. The Houston, I'm sure it wasn't his idea, but so he's walking around, and they're showing him in his office with his hand still up. And somebody comes up to give him a high five, and they go, no, that's for CJ. And And so then he goes and he's in the cafeteria and he's eating and he has it up. And one of the workers goes and they're like, no, 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 that's for CJ. And so it's like 3 or 4 days later, and he's kind of just standing finally in the locker room in the hallway out, and the team's coming out for practice. And CJ sees him and he kind of walks over and very slowly high fives him and they, and then to move on. But I mean, and it's the actual owner who's doing this, and it's showing him all over, and it's like 3 days later, and his hand's still up waiting for that high five from CJ. Oh man, it is so funny.
That reminds me of the old ESPN commercials from back in the day. My favorite of which was Stuart Scott going up to the elevator, and it's the New Jersey Devil who opens it, and he's like going down. Yeah.
There are so many of those that are good. The one where the guy, he has his tie around his head, he's like, "Run for your lives!" It's
Yes.
I can't remember this scenario, but
I remember that.
yeah, those are so
So
good.
out of all the teams in the playoffs, if you're looking at this right now as a tournament, and you can't exactly know who they're going to play next because lowest seed will play one and whatnot. But if you had to pick a Super Bowl right now, who are your two teams?
Oh boy, if I had to pick a Super Bowl right now, um, honestly, and golly, this is a tough one. If I had to pick right now, uh, I'm honestly torn between Denver and Houston on the AFC side, and I'm kind of torn. Actually, I think Philadelphia. I think in the NFC, I really do. I think Philadelphia. I don't know. There's something. Maybe it's I haven't seen enough of Seattle this year, but I just to me they're not what you would expect a number one seed to be. And I mean, and I'm no reason to say that other than the optics.
There's the regular season, and then there's the playoffs. I will say Seattle's probably the most impressive team that I've seen. Just every time when I watched them against San Francisco, I was like, God bless, this is a grown man team. They're real good. But that is Sam Darnold in the regular season. That's not lay an egg with Minnesota playoffs.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean is that optic. I mean, when they might turn out to be that, but the optics of it, and again, I did not mention Darnold specifically, but I should have. You're right. I mean, if he puts it together, they're in the Super Bowl. But can he handle that pressure? And right now, this first time in like this, in this situation, I just don't see it. I mean, I could see it, but I'm leaning toward Philadelphia, and I would have to say Denver again, head versus heart. But Houston, there's something about Houston that just scares me, in the sense that again, they're coming together. They're the team I would not want to play out of all of them.
I think the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a swan song because I think they're the one team who I'm pretty sure, even if Seattle's on their game, I think the Rams can beat the Seahawks, even in Seattle. They just are experienced. I saw them almost do it against Philadelphia last year. And again, they have the right quarterback to take them through that
Yeah.
long stretch. So I think the Rams are going. And I think that destiny is due on Buffalo, and it's going to be Bills Rams playing in Santa Clara in Super Bowl whatever number we are 61, 60, 61. Who's counting?
Now, I reserve the right to change my opinion. Even if these teams win, I reserve the right to change
Right.
my opinion next week.
It's matchups, man. It's matchups.
Yeah.
You never know how it's going to go. And besides, the Bills may lose in the first round, but I just think, and if the Rams and Bills get there, I'll definitely be rooting for the Bills. Um, who knows? But I also wouldn't be absolutely stunned if you told me that the Super Bowl was Seahawks Texans,
Right. Right.
or
And here's the thing with that is that for name brand wise, it would not sound like a really good Super Bowl. But if you want really good football, that would be a terrific Super Bowl.
it would be a great. Here's the thing, man. This is Bedlam Buds. We talk college football. Give me the NFL all day. I'll watch college football. It's sis boom ba and the pageantry. But God, the football is really, really good in the NFL.
Yeah, it's different. I've been on the and you probably have too. I've been on the sidelines for both, and my goodness, college
Been on
football
si- Get on the
fast.
sidelines with you.
Yeah. College football is fast, but my goodness, the NFL, people, you have no idea I mean, and so that's right. This is a big grown man sport, and these guys, it's so fun to watch. You're right. But and this is the time of year, man. This is that fun time of year, the playoffs, looking at all these matchups, trying to see who's gonna, who might have the big upset, who is hot now compared to early on in the year. Man, that's what it's all about. That's why it's fun to talk about.
And it starts on Saturday. Folks, if you see this, if you disagree with the picks, put it in the space below. If we end up calling a loser here, man, just rip us to shreds. Put it down there. Let us
Call
help.
us out, man.
Let us, yeah, call us out. What are we gonna do? But until next time, Boomer Center.
Go Pokes.
This is Bedlam Buds.